Good morning. Today I want to talk about the astrology of April. So let's see if I can share my screen. And I think we're ready to go. The astrology of April. March was a very active month astrologically with several major sign changes and a conjunction of Jupiter and Chiron. In contrast, April will be more like a first step into a new landscape. But to fully understand the astrology of April, we need to see how things fit into some larger, longer lasting planetary cycles. So let's begin. Now, the most anticipated astrological event of 2023 was Pluto's ingress into Aquarius on March 23rd. It will spend all of its time this year at 0+ degrees Aquarius until it retrogrades back into Capricorn on June 11th for the rest of the year. In 2024, in January, Pluto will return to Aquarius, and it won't completely leave until January 19th, 2044. During this period, we'll likely see many dazzling technological developments, power transfers from individuals to groups, humanitarian initiatives, and revolutions of all sorts. Now, current trends and trends leading up to this passage through Aquarius have been several new technologies, including artificial intelligence, the war for freedom in Ukraine, and also various protests around the world in places like Iran, Peru, France, and Israel. Additionally, since Pluto will spend all of its time this year at 0+ degrees Aquarius, this will stimulate the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that occurred at this position in late 2021. Right now, we're seeking transformation, Pluto, through a proper balance between growth and freedom, Jupiter, and control and regulation, Saturn. Another major sign change that occurred in March was Saturn's ingress into Pisces, where it will remain for the better part of the next 3 years. During this period, it is expected that many old structures will dissolve, while some will bring their dreams, Neptune, into concrete reality, Saturn. Saturn will be co-present with Neptune and Pisces for the next 3 years, and things will culminate in February 2026 with a Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0+ degrees Aries. During this 3-year period, major shakeups are likely to occur in Russia, since big changes tend to happen there during Saturn-Neptune conjunctions. And American politics will also likely undergo main changes, since when slow-moving planets like Saturn and Neptune pass through Pisces, they trigger aspects similar to those that preceded the American Civil War. And for at least the past 3 years, that is what Neptune has been doing as it has moved through Pisces, and Saturn is now going to go back over the same ground that Neptune was going over. Thus, America is now a country divided, and how things end for us may depend greatly upon who is elected president in 2024. Also in March, there was an opposition of transiting Chiron to natal Saturn in July 1776 charts for America and to natal Chiron in Donald Trump's chart. This suggested wounding for both America and Trump. And since then, we've experienced severe weather events on the East Coast and the South, major bank failures, and a mass shooting at a school in Nashville. And Donald Trump is likely to be indicted soon. And with his natal Chiron conjunct natal Saturn in July 1776 charts, you can see they're both here at 14+ degrees Libra. He continues to wound America through his rhetoric and his actions. Now on to April. This month begins with several planets in Aries, which is cardinal fire, but ends with several planets in Taurus, which is fixed earth. Okay. And Mars has moved from Gemini into Cancer for the entire month. This represents an overall shift from aggression, Aries, and aggressive rhetoric, Mars and Gemini, to concerns that will probably focus more on personal survival and finances, Taurus, and security, Cancer. April also begins with the fairly harmonious kite formation, which you can see right here, this nice kite, grand trine, and an aspect that will endure throughout this month is the trine sextile that Saturn makes to the lunar nodes, which I have circled here. Saturn trine the south lunar node and sextile the north lunar node. And this aspect will likely intensify compassion and harmonious changes in structures around the world. Remember that Saturn in Pisces, a good aspect to the lunar nodes, is also a good time to discard old structures that are no longer serving you and to work on making your dreams a reality. In this regard, April can be a very good month. Another aspect that will last the entire month is a septile between Uranus and Neptune that will be exact on April 20th. A septile is an angle of about 51 degrees, and it produces a greater degree of focus as it moves toward the harmony of the sextile aspect. This is the last of a series of septiles and near septiles between Uranus and Neptune that began in 2021. And these septiles represent our attempts to harmonize our desire for oneness, Neptune, with our drive for spontaneity and creativity, Uranus. Some undoubtedly will have experienced the higher expressions of these drives, but others will likely have experienced them more in terms of confusion, delusions, disinformation, irrationality, manic behavior, and rebellion. But after April 20th, we won't see any more of these septiles between Uranus and Neptune until 2044 through 2047. An additional aspect that will last the entire month is a waning semi-sextile between Uranus and Chiron. This is the tail end of a very long cycle that began with a conjunction in Sagittarius in 1898, one of many aspects of that time that ushered in a new age of science. This waning semisextile has been exact several times since 2009, but will only get within about a degree of being exact in April 2023. Also, the next conjunction of Uranus and Chiron will occur at 17 plus degrees Leo in November 2042, and this may signal a shift in emphasis from science and learning, Sagittarius, to the self and personal creativity, Leo. By that time, we may also conclude that we have, in a sense, reached the limit of the joy that science can bring us, and we may look for joy instead through getting in touch with our own creative power. Also, the last time Uranus and Chiron were conjunct in Leo was in September 1456, again at 17 plus degrees Leo. However, historical records from this era appear too sketchy for me to really understand the impact of the conjunction at that time. For now, though, I feel like we are wrapping up our long effort to achieve transcendence solely through knowledge and science. Also, during the first half of April, Mars will make a triseptile to Pluto, a septile to Uranus, and a biseptile to Neptune. With Mars in Cancer, this will likely bring issues of family and personal security into focus during this period. Additionally, Mars in Cancer will be sextiling one planet or another in Taurus throughout most of April, and this bodes well overall for personal security and prosperity. Now, astrological dynamics change daily, but on certain days like new and full moons, their impact is amplified, and during eclipses, the impact is even greater. During the April full moon, the moon is in Libra, and that by itself places a pleasant focus on relationships with others. However, with Sun in Aries conjunct Chiron, there is a heightened risk of wounding of sorts. But for the more evolved, this is also an opportunity because what Chiron really seeks is transcendence. The wounding only occurs because our hard shells need to first be cracked in order to let our inner light out and the outer light come in. Thus, the period from Sun conjunct Chiron, early April 5th, through Sun conjunct Jupiter on April 11th, this can be a time of great spiritual opening for some. So be open to that possibility. Now, additionally, a moderate square of Pluto to the lunar nodes, which we have right here, Pluto up here, lunar nodes here and here. This will intensify the power of groups, which is what Aquarius has to do with group power. And this moderate square will be in effect throughout the month. However, the kite formation that's still in effect will help release tensions. Thus, this full moon will be either a mixed bag or balanced bag, depending on how you look at it. Also, on April 13th, Uranus will begin a quintile with Saturn that will last through the rest of the month, and this will add additional creativity to the process of Saturn in Pisces, helping us turn our dreams into reality. And on April 19th, a solar eclipse will be another moment of particular emphasis. Pluto squaring both the luminaries and the lunar nodes, and with Mercury conjunct Uranus, something may rock the world a bit around this time. But we will just have to wait and see what actually happens. Also, the ongoing sextile trine from Saturn to the lunar nodes will help release some of the tension. And finally, a square between Mars and Chiron during the last week of April may bring about some sort of wounding to parts of the world. Exactly what and how is not something we can say at this point, but this is certainly another time to keep an eye on. So, in summary, April looks like a month in which many changes will settle following all the energy changes. Many things will settle following all the energy changes that occurred in March. Certainly, there will be some good days and some bad days throughout the March, but most of these will pass quickly. Hence, I would focus primarily on those astrological events I've mentioned that will be more lasting. And the more evolved will be empowered by friends and supportive groups, Pluto and Aquarius, and they may receive more personal enlightenment during the full moon, Sun conjunct Chiron. And this month is also a good time to start bringing your dreams into reality, Saturn and Pisces. So these are the things I would focus on. Pluto has moved into Aquarius, from Capricorn into Aquarius, and this signals a shift of power from individuals to the people into groups. And this is going to be in effect for over 20 years. So this month we have our first full month of Pluto in Aquarius. So feel that transition of power to the people and to groups that are supportive to you. And also this entire month we'll have Saturn in good aspect to the lunar nodes. Saturn is in Pisces. So think about letting go of those structures that no longer serve you and bringing your dreams more into physical reality. And during the full moon and thereafter, when we have Sun conjunct Chiron, instead of experience wounding, see if you're open to these higher energies of transcendence that Chiron wants to bring into your life. And like I said, there are going to be ups and downs throughout the entire month. There's going to be a bit of a focus on family and personal security. But hopefully our personal finances, the things we enjoy, those may flourish a bit this month. So look for those things you can enjoy as Mars makes a sextile off and on to various planets that are going through Taurus. And this can be a very good month for people, some wounding for some, but there can be some good things too. So look for that and enjoy. And now let's see if I can stop sharing my screen. And let's see, that's not quite what I wanted. There we go. I'm back. So that's it for April. I hope you have a good month. Take good care of yourself. And I hope to see you again soon. So long.